Hi, today we're gonna ride from Warren's Corner to Highbury Shops in Birkenhead, and we're gonna ask the question, are painted lanes worse than nothing? So first let's define nothing. In Auckland this usually means parked cars, because well, we allow parking almost everywhere, even on most arterial roads. So riding next to parked cars is really stressful and quite dangerous, honestly. So you're kind of squeezed between parked cars and driving cars, and if someone wants to drive past you, well, he can't really, so you have to go into these gaps and let cars pass, or otherwise they have to squeeze past you, which is, like, it's quite close. Oof. So yeah, there's not a lot of space to do so. Now, if you go into one of these gaps, well, you're riding, you want to get out of that gap again, and maybe you don't have room, so you have to check. If no one leaves the space, you have to stop and wait for a gap, and this repeats every 50 meters or so, and it's a really annoying, stressful, and dangerous way to ride a bicycle. Now, here we have a painted lane. A shoulder, technically, but it is a line of paint, so what's the difference, really? Now, this is a much less stressful situation. You know, you just have space to ride your bicycle. Cars have space to drive past you. It's, well, it's a much more sensible situation. So, yeah, I think a painted line is much better than nothing. So, what is actually the important thing here? Is it this line of paint? No, it's actually the dashed yellow lines. It's a change in layout. You go from parking lane to no parking lane. Now, this is politically a very difficult step. Like, if a bike lane project takes away even one parking spot, it can often already sink the project due to the sheer opposition to it. So, in comparison, spending a couple of millions to make it a proper protected lane is very easy. So, usually, if you get over that political barrier, you also just build a protected lane. So, I think that's why you usually don't see proper painted lanes. So sometimes councils and other road controlling authorities they take a little shortcut. They want to make a painted lane without changing the layout. So where you see then is maybe you've got your parking lane and then some really narrow bike lane in between and then the driving lane. So yeah, this in a way is worse than nothing, because it's doing something without really improving anything. You're still squeezed in this really dangerous spot between driving cars and parked cars, so please don't do that. So the other thing to talk about are intersections. Auckland is exceptionally bad at intersections for cyclists. So how are you supposed to turn right here? Because that's where the schools and the shops and the cafes are. So, one possibility is to follow the cars, dive bomb into the right turning lane for cars, which seems like a way too risky proposition for the average guy, and I totally understand this. It's also not possible if it's really busy because, you know, are you really gonna go between two cars at close following distance, maybe while they're moving? No. So the other possibility is called a hook turn. No, the problem with the hook turn here is that there's no pedestrian crossing on the far side here, so you can't do a proper hook turn. So, well, let's follow the pedestrians here. And now you're in a really awkward spot, because in the morning there's quite a few people walking here, and with a bicycle you're really in their way. So if you're gonna wait at that crossing to cross the other side of the intersection, yeah, you're really annoying. But you know, continuing is also really annoying, and crossing the street like this is really difficult. So, yeah, you're kind of stuck. Look here, some freshly minted and then removed angle parks. Just think about what a bad idea that was. And why the council didn't see that one coming. And going past this car is really annoying. So yeah, you see, this is parking everywhere. This was minted a few years ago. Well, parking is really the number one priority if road design is an indication here. So at least this part is quite low speed, so it's kind of okay to ride between the cars here. So, say, if you want to continue to Oneva Road, do you go here or do you go on the Highbury bypass? I think you go here because, as I said, this is not too bad. The Highbury bypass is quite steep because it drops down the side of the gully and then comes up again, so you have to climb. It's a really busy road, so you don't want cars squeezing past you there. And it just happens to have a freshly minted parking lane as well. Oh, very nice, Auckland Transport. Thanks a lot. So, if you're in the habit of telling people that painted lanes are worse than nothing, please stop doing that, because they're really not. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.